And we're live. Welcome to CAD Live on this, is it the 1st of December today? Or have we got to the 2nd already? God, I'm going out of my mind. It's the 2nd of December. Welcome to Advent. Welcome to CAD Live. It's getting more festive in here as we go on. Maybe there'll be some more decorations on the tree, maybe some presents under the tree for some lucky viewers as we get into the weeds with dating, with charisma, with attraction, and we solve your dating and game related issues here live on the stream. So if you have a question or you've got something you're struggling with in your dating life or your romantic life or your relationship life, or just life in general, listen, we're here to help, right? We are here to assist you with those issues. So stick them in the chat and we will do our very best to answer them during the program. And that's the whole point really of CAD Live. So CAD, if you don't know, stands for Charisma and Dating. It's named after my course, Charisma and Dating Academy. And the whole point of this really, I mean, it kind of often ends up with me just rambling on about some stuff for ages. But the original idea of this was really to try to help you guys with issues that you've got at the moment. So dating issues about day game, if that's what you're interested in, issues about night game, even the dating apps, etc., etc. Stick them in the chat and, we'll talk about them live on the show, right? Because that's what I'm here for, I haven't got anything else to do on a Wednesday afternoon. So yeah, put your questions into the chat. If you're watching this live, thank you very much. Good to see you. Give me a comment in the chat. Give me a thumbs up, etc., etc. If you're watching the replay, again, welcome. Sorry that you weren't at the live show, but I hope that you will get some value from this stream, as always, because today, what we're going to be talking about is the oldest piece of dating advice in the book, which is be yourself, right? Oh. Just be yourself, okay? And that's something that gets chucked around as a piece of dating advice. It's kind of a mainstream piece of dating advice, really, isn't it? And is that the worst piece of dating advice in the world, or can it actually work sometimes? Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about. Before that, I just wanted to say, I mean, obviously, as a content creator, you are prone to get negative comments made about you from time to time across the internet. And, I certainly get my share of that. I mean, it may surprise you that even I sometimes receive negative comments. Pretty crazy, right? But sometimes I do. And there was a number of them floating around, but I saw one, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where somebody had said, there's something about Troy Francis I just don't like. It's the hair. Is it the glasses? There's just the whole thing. There's just something about him that I don't know. I can't explain it. I just don't like it. Okay, so that was the comment. And listen, I'm here to serve. I'm here to do everything that I can for you, the audience, to make your lives better. So I've listened to that comment and I've taken some time out. I've taken a step back to consider very carefully that comment and the implications of that comment, and, thinking about it and being humble and just getting in touch with myself, I'd like to now make the following statement. Screw you. Don't watch then. If you don't like me, don't watch. Jesus Christ. Why are these people so stupid? Here's the thing, right? I know what it's like, because I'm like everybody else, right? I'm online. I follow people on Twitter. I follow people on YouTube. I follow people on, whatever, even TikTok. I'm even getting into TikTok now a little bit. And, you follow people, and there are some people who really bloody annoy you. There are certain people that, like, I will follow online, say on Instagram, and that person really, really, really annoys me. And I'm just like, oh, that person. And every time they post, I'm like, oh, look at that. And then I'm looking at their stories. I'm like, oh, look at what they're posting now. Oh, I hate it. But you know what? The reason that I do that, and the reason that you do that, is because it is a form of drug, really. It takes us away from our feelings. It takes us away. And this is the whole thing about social media and video and, all the other platforms, really. It takes us away from ourselves. It takes us away from having to deal with the realities of our own life just for a short while, okay? And that's why you get so many haters on social media. and people making videos and making false accusations and all this kind of stuff. The reason that these people do it, well, they do it for, there's a number of reasons why they do it. A lot of people are chasing clout. They're trying to make money. They're trying to build their brand, whatever. But the reason that a lot of people do it who are maybe they don't even have a brand, they're just regular people or even anonymous or whatever. The reason they do it is because actually you get a bit of a dopamine hit from hating on people. You know, I mean, it's kind of sad to say, but this is the truth, right? I myself will, you know, get a dopamine hit from hating on another content creator. I mean, I don't post anything. I don't like, you know, because I'm too busy for that. You know, I've got a life, so I haven't got time to, you know, be posting random BS on people's comments and stuff. In the most part, I mean, maybe occasionally, but not in the main. I don't. But, you know, I mean, the reason that you do it is because it gives you that little buzz. It's like, oh, I really hate that person. They're so annoying. Oh. And that expression of anger, that feeling of, and that feeling of like, I'm better than this person because they're such a XYZ and I'm not, so I'm great, or me and my mates are great and that person's such an idiot. You know, it makes you feel good, okay? But as I say, it is a displacement activity. It's like watching television. It's like chewing gum. It's like drinking. It's like doing drugs. It's like having random sex with people, right? You know, all of these things, you know, they may feel good at the time, but you're actually just doing it as an avoidance technique, okay? You're doing it because there are issues and challenges and problems in your life, and maybe things you're unhappy with in your life, like there is in mine and everybody else. You know, we're all the same. We all have these issues. But, you know, you are hating on that person to take you away from that just for a bit, okay? And that's why when you wake up in the morning and you go onto Instagram or you go onto YouTube and you're like, right, let's see what that person said. I hate that person. You have to recognize why you're doing it. And as I say, you're doing it to alleviate problems that you have in your own life. And really, and this is a lesson for all of us, and again, I include myself in this as well, we would always be much better off instead just disregarding those people, right? Because people that annoy me on social media, people that annoy you, you know, if I annoy you or whoever, right? I mean, it's like you're not going to change that person. That person is going to probably carry on just doing their thing, whatever. And it's kind of irrelevant to you, really. It's irrelevant to your day-to-day life, okay? I mean, what that other person does, all you have to do is stop looking at their content and then it doesn't affect you anymore, right? You know, it's not like the content creator, it's not like that Instagram influencer is coming around your house and saying, hey, look at me doing a selfie pose in front of you in your living room. You know, it's only because you engage with them on social media that they are annoying to you. And as I say, you're doing that as a way to avoid looking at yourself, to avoid looking into the void that's in you, into that void that, you know, and you're trying to fill it with these other things. You're trying to fill it with anger, because anger, John Lydon of the Sex Pistols sang famously, anger is an energy, and it certainly is. And it's also kind of addictive. It really, really kind of is. You know, if you feel like you've got one over somebody, that can be exhilarating, particularly for people perhaps like myself, you know, who've got that sort of addictive side to their nature. You just get that good feeling, don't you? Like, yeah, I've really socked it to that person. I feel good. I feel victorious, you know, and that gives you this sort of sense of a high, which is fine. I mean, you know, whatever, but it's not particularly healthy, right? I was having this conversation with somebody who's my mentor, actually an advisor earlier. And I was saying, listen, I recognize in myself that I have these feelings. I recognize that I can feel defiance and anger, and I can feel this kind of explosion of energy. And I like to get one over people sometimes, you know, if I feel like they've done me wrong or they annoy me or whatever. But that is not healthy, really. It's a fake high. Because actually, the real high should come from accomplishment. You know, the real high is not, oh, I totally owned that person on Twitter, or, oh, you know, I totally owned that guy over there by doing X, Y, and Z. That's sort of like it's a very hollow, shallow kind of a high. And really, what you want to be getting your high from is from actual achievement. That is actually doing something good and tangible in your own life. Okay, so a message to any haters who might be watching this: just don't bother. It's just, you know, like, really, like, life is, it's kind of too short. Do you know what I mean? It really is too short to be hating on random people on the internet. Do you know what I mean? Because there are millions of random people on the internet, many of whom you're not going to particularly like, and you're not going to be particularly gel with. And you know, like, it's like, seriously, on a human level, on a human, you know, just person to person level, you are wasting your time. You know, you would be much better to, like, build your own thing, you know, make your own YouTube channel, or make your own videos, or create your own, or write your own book, or whatever, you know. So don't try not to displace. All of us, we have to get into this situation where we are sitting with our feelings, right? And this is something that gets taught in alcohol recovery a lot, which is to say that people who become alcoholics or become drug addicts, what they tend to be doing a lot of the time is they tend to be trying to avoid, I'm just going to stick Instagram on here actually. They tend to be trying to avoid their feelings, okay? They're trying to avoid feeling pain, or feeling negativity, or feeling bad, etc., etc. You know, they're trying to feel good. And so, and they find it really, really difficult to live in any sort of state of uncertainty, or any sort of situation whereby, you know, they have negative emotions, they have negative feelings. Sorry, I'm just doing this Instagram thing. And so as a result, they will use substances, they'll use drink, and they'll use drugs, and other behaviors sometimes, in order to try to feel better about themselves, in order to fill that void. And I believe what we're doing with social media in many cases is something of the same thing. We're utilizing social media in order to fuel that anger. And this is why as well, I mean, listen, social media, so partisan. How partisan is social media now? I mean, just look at the MAGA people online at the moment versus the, I don't know, like the Democrats or the Biden supporters or whatever. We are so polarized. And of course, the media companies recognize this. Of course, all of them buy into it because they want the clicks. And all of these clicks are rage clicks. All of the clicks are rage clicks. It's like, oh, I can't believe, you know, you got all these people who think that the election was stolen. It's like, oh, I can't believe they stole the election. Oh, look at what the Dems have done. And then you got all the other people on the other side who are like, get Trump out of the White House. Oh, I can't believe he's still there, and he's making all these lawsuits, and there's just this anger on both sides. And, you know, to be honest, we're being played. You know, the media is playing us. Okay, like there's no accident that this is happening. There's no, like, it's not just a coincidence. This is the thing that fuels social media. It's how they all make their money, okay? And it's how the mainstream media makes its money as well. This is why something like Fox News is so divisive, okay? Why these people are so partisan. It's because they want that rage, they want that anger, because they know that means clicks, and they know that means ad revenue, okay? And that's all it's about. And we're all falling into the trap. You know, but because, like, have you ever noticed, right, how on social media people are so aggressive? You know, it's not, generally speaking, I mean, sometimes you get people who are polite and they have a considered debate, but generally speaking, what happens is that, you know, you will post an opinion on Twitter or something, and somebody will come back and their first interaction is, you're an idiot, because what about this? Because you didn't think about this. You know, you're a fool. That's the first iteration of their response, right? There's no sort of like, oh, well, actually, I kind of disagree with this because I think this, I think that. We've all become conditioned to become almost monstrous now in our responses to people, because this polarization that we're seeing in social media has been embedded within us now. It's become part of our psyche. And in a way, that's kind of fun, right? In a way, that's kind of fun because, you know, like as much as the next man, I like hating on people on social media. You know, there are people who really, really annoy me on social media. I'm like, oh, they're just, that person is just so annoying. And then you find yourself actually looking at their feed. You find yourself actually seeking them out, which is mental. Because what a waste of time and what a waste of emotional energy. And, you know, I think that this is all just part of this hyper addictive society that we all live in now, where we're just being fueled. We're just being fueled and we're being primed, you know, and a lot of it's down to the tech companies, but they are, I think, hanging on to, or rather profiting from a very negative aspect of human nature, which is basically we kind of like hating on each other, you know? I mean, that's sort of what it comes down to. So anyway, all of that is really beside the point in terms of the topic of this stream. But I was just thinking about that before because, as I say, you know, being on the receiving end of this stuff and also being somebody who, you know, if I'm being completely honest, sometimes I will have things to say about other people as well. And, you know, you've just got to look at it in, you know, take a step back from it and look at it and look at why you're doing it and what are you actually really achieving, etc., etc. Now, you might say, well, what's all this got to do with dating? You know, like I come here to this stream because I want to hear some like dating advice. And all I'm hearing is this BS about social media. Well, it's no good. And you'd be right to say that because I've gone wildly off topic. But there is actually an application to this. And what it is that negativity in any aspect is bad for your vibe, okay? And your vibe, the way that you come across, has a direct impact in terms of, you know, how successful you're going to be in social interactions, right? If your vibe is negative because you're bought into a load of negative energy, because you're hating on a bunch of people online, etc., then that's going to come out in a really weird way in terms of your energy. I mean, I was just thinking the other day, something had happened to me. There was some negative stuff happening online, and I was feeling this very, very amped up and kind of angry and also sort of resentful and bitter and all of these kinds of things. And I was traveling around on the underground in London, and you could see, I mean, I didn't speak to anybody or anything like that, but you could see the way that people were. I saw a couple of people like look at me, and I could tell that they were sensing this negative energy coming off me. I don't want to get too esoteric here, but you know what I'm saying. I could sense that they were looking at me like, whoa, this guy's angry, or this guy's got this, you know, there's something going on with this guy. And that's not a good place to be if you want harmonious social relationships. And if you want to, you know, and look, if you want to be successful in dating, because if you're in a dating scenario and, you know, you walk into the bar or the party and you're giving off those negative vibes, then when you interact with women, that's not gonna really do you any favors. And this is actually something that I teach in CAD Academy, which is open for new students right now. So I'll stick the link below. So do jump on board because we're only open until Sunday. The sales window is now until Sunday, and then we close. We're capping it at 100 students. So hit that link below, which I will put in, I think, after we finish, because it's not up at the moment. But listen, I mean, one of the things that I teach in there, in the charisma section, is that really a lot of charisma, you've got charisma already. You know, it's not so much that you need to relearn charisma. You already have charisma. Many of us have natural charisma of some kind. Of course, it's variable from person to person. But many of us have some degree of charisma already. But we allow things to get in the way. You know, we allow anger and resentment and fear and shame and different emotions to get in the way, okay? And also we can allow depression and unhappiness, sadness to get in the way as well. And a lot of what improving one's charisma is about is actually working out how to kind of move those things to one side so that we can allow our natural charisma to come through, okay? And that is kind of a central pillar to what is taught in the charisma section in Charisma and Dating Academy, okay? So all of this stuff, this online negativity, etc., it may feel fun, in the immediate term, because of course it does. It's like eating candy, or it's like, taking shots, or taking a hit of something or whatever. It's like it's fun in that initial phase, in that interim, but what's it actually doing for you? How's it actually improving your life? And we would all do far better to just avoid that kind of drama and concentrate instead on building something for ourselves, building something of actual value. Okay, so let us have a look at the comments. Anybody got any questions, any comments, etc.? Put them into the chat. Backland Bob, hi Backland Bob, says to Jack Napier, when will you be collaborating with Troy and Aaron again? Did we all do a show together yet? I can't remember. I'm not sure. But anyway, no doubt. Well, actually, I think I'll be doing a show with Jack very soon. We were discussing it before. I will get back to you on that, Jack. It would be great to come on to your show to talk about Charisma and Dating Academy. And I'll be doing something else with Aaron as well very soon. He's got a new book that's going to be out soon. So I'd love to get him over here to discuss that. It's his work about the return on investment in terms of dating, in terms of, meeting women, quite frankly, is what he's talking about. And he's talking about the return on investment of that, particularly for a young man. And is that the best use of your time? And he goes into that in granular detail. It's really, really interesting stuff. So yeah, hopefully we'll get Aaron over to chat to him about that soon. Tim Kelly says, stupidity runs rampant in the anonymous world of the internet. Why, for example, is the Rule Zero crew constantly harassed by black pillars? They could just not watch. Well, yes. I mean, why don't they just not watch? That would make things a lot easier, wouldn't it? Because I don't watch their stuff. I mean, like, I wouldn't, like we did that show yesterday. I was on with John MLD and we were doing that show and we were all talking about like black, that dude and that black pill dude. And, like, kind of funny to do. It's sort of like it's a bit like a rap battle, like a rap diss kind of situation where you've got that crew, they're all piling in on us and then we're piling in on them. And, hopefully it's entertaining, right? Because everyone likes that drama, don't they? This is one of the reasons we do this stuff, because it's kind of entertaining. It's good to have, when you are building, all right, put it this way, in any story, in any narrative, okay, what are the most important elements of the narrative? Well, the most important elements are you, or rather, sorry, the protagonist. But the second most, and arguably maybe even the most important thing, is the antagonist. You need to have a strong antagonist in order to make the story good, okay? Because, the worse the baddie is and the more powerful the baddie is in a film or a movie or a book, the more exciting and gripping that story is. So in many ways, it's very good for us to have people who hate on us, because they become the big bad wolf in the story. They become the adversary. And that makes it more entertaining for people tuning in, hopefully. Which, looking at the viewing figures on when we do stuff like that is borne out by viewing figures and people writing comments and stuff. However, taking a step back, what a waste of time. because to be honest, I don't watch their stuff. I mean, the only reason I watch their stuff is if they are commenting on, they're saying things about me, and you'll watch a bit of it. I would be perfectly happy for them to do their own thing and for us to do our own thing as well. I just don't see, like, it's the internet's a big place. I mean, it's not like it's not like if somebody does a live stream, that's the only live stream that can take place that night and we're all vying for a spot or something. It's just like, there's the reason that the excuse that they will use, and this is an excuse that haters use quite a lot, is that they're doing it for the benefit of the audience. It's that white knighting thing. It's that sense of, I'm doing this, I'm pointing out the truth, because I am a truth teller. I'm a truth teller and I'm here to expose the evil that these people are doing, because somebody needs to do it. Somebody needs to stand up and do it. And, but it's disingenuous. it's just not true. It's just not true. They don't really care about that. What they care about is getting views, like everybody else. All they're bothered about is like, oh, how many views am I going to get? How many comments am I going to get? How many likes am I going to get? Is this going to push up the YouTube algorithm? So it's completely disingenuous. And then off the back of that, am I going to sell copies of my book or copies of my app or whatever it is? Completely disingenuous. They don't really care. They just do it. They use that as a cover story. That's all. So, it's all about positioning and ego. What else have we got here? It's not the journey, it's the destination. Lol. Well, it kind of is. Genesis says charisma works great when coupled with looks in order to spark appeal and interest. Well, yeah, which is why you should work on your looks as well. I was out in town today because we're out of lockdown now. Somebody's talking about lockdown on Instagram. We're sort of out of the we still have restrictions in London, but the main lockdown has been eased. So shops and things are open today. So I was able to go out, get my jacket back from the tailors, get a little bit of a haircut, go to the gym, etc. So kind of a nice morning, if you like. But yeah, you've got to, John talks about this, John MLD. You've got to prioritize. There are different areas, right? There is your dating, your relationship life. That's really important. You want to make sure you've got the right tools to get that in the right shape, in the best shape possible. But equally, or even more importantly, you've got your career, how you make money. What are you doing in order to make money? Are you doing something in order to make money that you actually enjoy doing? Or are you just, a slave to a machine because you've got to make cash and that's the only way that you feel that you can? So there's that. And then there's fitness. Are you in good shape? Are you looking after yourself? Are you eating right? Are you sleeping well? Most of those things I'm not, but anyway, are you sleeping right? Are you doing exercise? That I do a lot of. So you need to look after those key three areas. So I can't even do three, can I? Those key three areas. But I suppose within perhaps the fitness health one is, or kind of aligned with it, is how you look, and that's really important. And you want to try and look as good as you can. We can all improve. There's certainly things that I can improve, and I will, I seek to improve. And but yeah, I mean, of course, you've got to try to look as good as you can. Looks max, maximize your looks to the greatest degree possible, because sure, it makes a difference. 100%. As I always say, the bone of contention is more around the degree to which it makes a difference. Does it make almost no difference? Does it make a small difference, or does it make a big difference? And the black pill people would say it makes no difference. Some would say, well, it makes a little bit of a difference, but it's mainly about looks. And other people would say, no, it actually, charisma and personality make quite a big difference to how you come across. And I would be probably in that latter camp. I think actually charisma, the way you present yourself, all of these things does make a big difference. Certainly that's the evidence I've seen from my own life and from, working with other people and, I don't know, just being alive and not in my mum's basement for the last few decades. Baker says, is there a topic on Chad on social media profile photos? Kind of struggling on this one. What do you mean by that? Do you mean how to appear more Chad-like in your photos? If that's what you mean, then that's something that gets covered in, something that's covered in CAD Academy, actually, because we will be having a social media dating apps session with somebody, one of the guys, probably like Myron Gaines or maybe John will come in. We're going to be talking about all of this stuff, and there are things that you can do to improve the Chadness of your pictures on the dating apps and social media, and that will help you in terms of getting those likes, in terms of getting those, that positive attention on those platforms. So there are certainly things that you can do. So Backlund says, any advice on how do you reconcile the aftermath of pickup? Myron says he goes 1 for 40, garbage return on investment, no diss. I mean, learn to code, start a business. Something alternative seems like a better time use. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but it's sort of like it's kind of like, well, what are you going to do? It's like the reality is that you're going to want to have interactions with women. Okay, that's the truth of the matter. So you're going to have to get that somehow. So I mean, my take on this really would be that, like I said, you want to divide your time up very strictly and make sure that you are looking after all elements. Okay, so yes, you want to be working on your career, you want to be learning to code, etc., etc. But socializing is also a very important thing, and having a dating life is a very important thing for most people. So that's also something that you've got to prioritize. And I mean, for me, I would say you need to be doing both. Let's see. Yeah, I'd say you need to be doing both, really, at the same time, or all three, looking after all the three key areas at the same time. And you might, at certain points in your life, turn up the dial on some and turn down the dial on others, depending on what your objectives are at that moment. But they're all important. Now, when Myron talks about 1 for 40, remember what he's talking about is meeting somebody in a nightclub in Miami in order to have a one-night stand with them. Okay, and that is something of a tall order because Miami is a very competitive environment, let's say. And he's not talking about, like, how many girls do I have to go and talk to get a phone number, and then maybe we'll go on a date next week and then another date. And like, he's very much talking about creating a result on that same night. Okay, and that does require a degree of volume, because apart from anything else, you've got logistics. Like, not everybody is going to be in a position to drop everything and just go do something with Myron Gaines that evening. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like so you've got a logistical thing to overcome as well as an attraction thing to overcome there. But he wouldn't be doing 1 for 40 if it was a bit more laid back. If he was saying, I wanted to go out and meet a girl that I had a rapport with, somebody like Myron, he's probably only got to do a couple of approaches, and he's going to do that, and that will be it. So don't take the 1 in 40 thing too seriously. He is talking about a very specific thing. Okay. Gerard Perry says, I think I'm located in an orange zone right now. Everything is closing down. Are you talking about the lockdown again? Cool. Okay. AC from Casey says, I'm happy to be no pill. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all a load of nonsense, really, isn't it? Ace of Spades says, girls are visual creatures too, just as much as men. The only thing is they are aroused in the auditory sense as well. You mean by the sound of somebody's voice? Well, actually, Tom Torero would often talk about the sound of one's voice and speaking more slowly, which I should do, and more deeply, which I should probably seek to do as well. So yes, absolutely, I would agree with that. But I don't think it's, when you're saying auditory, that refers very much to sound. And I don't think it's just the sound of one's voice. I think it's also that what you talk about, the manner in which you talk about it. I mean, part of charisma is how effective is your language? How good at you at telling a story? How good are you at evoking emotions, in creating positive spikes or even negative spikes within the conversation? Those things are really, really powerful in terms of how you interact with people, right? And I believe that, I mean, listen, Voltaire famously said, give me 10 minutes and I will, I can talk away my ugly face and get the Queen of France into bed. All right. Now, I'm not sure. I don't know if he had any receipts. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's got any like videos of that, but you get the point, right? There is this whole tradition of people who've been, I mean, why do you think that they talk about silver-tongued solutions? Okay. Why do you think they talk about, silver-tongued seducers, right? Okay. Because it's a classic idea. It's a classic trope that there are guys who can talk women into bed. Okay, so I think that's a real thing, and I think that when people pretend it isn't, they are, well, they're just, it's a lack of nuance, really, and it's a lack of understanding of how things actually go down. when you are out and about in the dating marketplace. Judd says, return on investment is usually not worth it, Bob, but you can always stack the deck. The red pill are not quitters. That is the black pill. Indeed. I mean, you know, return on investment it's an argument to make, I guess. But it sort of depends how badly you want to make things happen in your life. If you are somebody who says, right, well, listen, this is the sort of life that I want to have. You know, I want to have this kind of dating life. I want to have this kind of financial life. I want to have this kind of business life, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to achieve those things. Then, I mean, like it's kind of like building a business, right? Because if you are building a small business like me or like other people in this space, there are times when you might look at if you worked out your hourly rate would actually be really low, because maybe you don't have much revenue coming in, but you're actually working loads and loads and loads of hours in order to make the thing happen. So if you just looked at that hourly rate, say in year one or the first 3 months, you looked at the hourly rate, and you might say, well, the return on investment is not worth it because I'm working X hours, and that means my hourly rate is only, you know, whatever it is, £1 an hour or something. That's the return on investment is terrible. But that in itself is not an argument it's not a sufficient argument for why you should not work for yourself, right? You know, because there are other benefits that are going to come off the back end. Or maybe you just feel like, do you know what? I don't care if my hourly rate is really, really low. I just want to work for myself. You know, I just want to have that satisfaction. I just want to build this thing for myself. So I'm just going to, you know, the monetary return on investment I get from it is less important just than the fact I'm doing this. And you could apply that same argument to something like dating as well. You know, it depends what you want to get out the back end. Rollo says, my question got skipped. Let's have a look. What was the question? I can't find the question. Oh. So, right. So Rollo K says, what do you think about sense of humor and that having a fun time with girls? What's it for you? What do you mean having a fun time with girls? I think sense of humor is important. I mean, that's another thing. It's like be yourself, isn't it? It's like one of those classic old tropes. What do you have to do in dating? Just be yourself and have a good sense of humor, you know? And those are the classic bits of advice that you will get given. I think sense of humor is important, yeah, for sure. But I don't believe that just being a clown or going in and telling some jokes is the way forward. I think you need to be amusing, for sure. But this isn't about doing stand-up comedy, right? This is about, I mean, the most attractive thing in my view is that you are able to direct the ebb and flow of the interaction. And that sometimes means that you do some storytelling, that you talk a lot, that you do some verbal bamboozling. At other times, it might mean that you are a little bit more passive in the conversation, or you have a question and answer, you know, kind of riff. And yes, it's good if you can be amusing, but the reason it's good if you can be amusing is because that creates an emotional spike, you know, the emotional spike of, oh, that was funny, ha, 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 you know, and that sense of rapport that comes about as a result. But as I say, this isn't about being Jim Carrey, okay? So it's a different thing. But sure, you've got to be fun. You want to be fun to be around, right? You want to be fun to be around. That's the bottom line of it. Because if you're not fun to be around, why is anyone going to want to be around you, okay? What else have we got here? What are you drinking there? It's Pepsi Max with cherry. Okay, I'm popping my cherry live on the show. Marie Antoinette was no slouch, indeed. Has anyone seen that film with Kirsten Dunst about Marie Antoinette? That was quite good. Quite a long time ago now. Genesis says return on investment is based on charisma and improved looks, which equals increased interactions with women, equals improving game, equals, I don't even really understand this, to be honest, equals improving game, equals improved return on investment. Turn that 140 into at least 6 to 8 out of 4. Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. That seems to make sense to me. Aaron Clary's got. He's actually sent me a chapter which I need to read through of his new book, where he goes into this whole thing, because this whole thing about it's only looks that matter and all the rest of it. But the work that he's done quite a deep dive into statistics around attraction and how and why people get together, and his findings seem to bear out the fact that actually, yes, of course, looks are important, but they can also be mitigated by other things, namely by putting yourself into a lot of social interactions and making things happen for yourself. Okay, so it will be interesting to review his work and to do a show about it, really, and hopefully get Aaron on here in order to discuss further. But it's about time we brought some proper analysis, I think, into this space, rather than just talking about like I don't know, somewhat unsubstantiated hyperbole. Let's see what else we've got. I'm not sure we've got anything else here. Ace of Spades says, Ace of Spades says, I meant having an erotic conversation as well. For example, dating coach Alan Roger Curry has gotten thousands of women aroused through erotic phone sex conversations. Yeah, absolutely. 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 I mean, yes, you being able to vocalize, being able to talk in that way is also very, very helpful. It's a very attractive trait, because it shows, well, it's kind of sexy, but it also shows that you've got confidence. It shows that you've got pre-selection. So yeah, 100%, really, really important stuff. What else have we got? Gerard Perry, I think that film is underrated. I know people make fun of Sofia Coppola for obvious reasons, but that was a pretty good movie. Well, yeah, I mean, Lost in Translation. I mean, what a fantastic film, right? I mean, amazing film. Yeah, I liked the Marie Antoinette one. I've only seen it once, but it was pretty good from what I remember. Genesis says, receipts, mate. Yeah. We might be doing another receipt session soon, actually, because some people, and I will respond to the emails that people have said, so bear with me because it's been a bit busy last few days, but some people were saying that they didn't get the link for the webinar, the live webinar that I did the other day. So I'm thinking about doing another one. And so, yeah, look out for that, because we'll go into some stuff there. It'll be kind of interesting. Motorhead rules, yeah. Okay. Okay, Daniel says, thanks for putting all this quality advice out there. Cheers, man. Thank you for saying that. Here's my question. What would you say to a 42-year-old guy trying to get back in the game? Last few years spent solving personal problems. Well, it's never too late. Get out there, go out and make things happen for yourself. That's kind of it, really. I mean, 42 is it's not, there's certainly not too old or anything like that. I mean, that's a good age to be. So, all you need to do is start to internalize what we talk about here and what we talk about in CAD Academy, and what the guys talk about on the other channels, and then go out and start putting it into practice. Go out and start socializing. Go out and start making things happen for yourself, and it will, it really will. So it's a good time. It's be positive. It's a great time. 42 is a good age. Coming into a new year soon, everything to play for. So it's all good, man. It's all good. Sebastian says, I'm 17 and I think that is too late. What is too late? 17? 17 is not too late. 17 is too early, if anything. No, it's not too early, but you know what I mean? Like 17 is very, very young. Abdul says, I live in Italy, but I'm not Italian. So when I approach girls, they don't talk to me because I'm a foreigner. So what's your advice to me? Well, how many approaches have you done? Because, like with everything, people have varied opinions. You know, like some women are perhaps not going to be receptive to that. Others might really like it. Do you know what I mean? And like with everything, sometimes you have to run the numbers a bit. You know, sometimes you need to do a bit of volume. The other thing is, can you travel? Is it possible to go? I mean, I know at the moment with COVID, it's all difficult, but are you able to go to different places where maybe, you know, your status is perceived differently? You need to look for the hacks. You know, you need to look at it and think, okay, so if I'm really not getting traction here and I've really, really tried, then maybe it's time to go somewhere else, you know? But I would say, well, I mean, Anon here has said in Italy, it really doesn't matter if you dress well. So this is the thing, you know, it's very difficult with a question like that to say precisely what the issue is, because that guy's anonymous as well. And so we don't know, you know, how he dresses, what his grooming's like, how he comes across or anything like that. So there are a whole myriad of things that affect how you are going to be perceived. All right. So it's like one of them is nationality, but that's probably quite a small one, to be honest. You know, there are other things as well. So the other thing to do is just make sure you're maxing out on all the other measures or markers of being a high quality man as well, because, you know, you might as well try and make sure that you're coming across in the best way possible, right? Deepak says, I'd love to have a podcast with you in future. Awesome, man. Well, drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, and we can have a chat. Backlund Bob says, how did you stay on the grind throughout the years? I could be experiencing burnout. 1 in 40 is taxing. The ROI is at an all-time low in terms of caliber, attractive but valueless. Whereabouts are you? Whereabouts are you based? Out of interest. Well, I mean, like, you know, for myself, it's not a question of really being on the grind for the entire time. I mean, you know, I have a girlfriend. I've dated people in the past. I've dipped in and out of the market. So it's not necessarily about like, oh, I'm just on the grind for my entire life kind of thing. You know, I think most guys tend to retreat from the market at different points, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, like, ultimately all of this is about making you happy. You know, it's not about winning some internet tough guy kind of award. So, you know, just play the field, and then when you meet somebody you like, you can take a step back for a bit. That's fine. You know, it's good. Judd says, did not watch the video, but I believe Coach Greg Adams' message of the necessity of simps is factual. I've always felt that way. Let someone else take the sloppy leftovers. Thoughts? I haven't seen the video. It sounds, from what you're saying, like, is he talking about the fact that it's necessary for there to be people who are simps in order for more successful guys to be there as well? If that's what he's saying, yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. It's like the what was I going to say? It is like the 80-20 rule, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's just how things tend to go down. So yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of agree, but I would say that if you feel that you are one of the simps, then there are things that you can do to pull yourself out of that somewhat. Backlund Bob says, lies, you are the ultimate internet. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to me? Oh, he's talking. Actually, I think he's talking to somebody else in the chat, I think. What's your take on Rollo's SMV graphs? They seem to be accurate from what I've observed in life. And then the Quiet Place says, I know game a bit. I can crack jokes and have a good rapport. But what to do for DHVing and making them want you? Well, I mean, this is what you'll learn in CAD Academy. So hit the link below. But seriously, he's talking about demonstrating higher value. And, you've got to be a bit careful with that, because you don't want to look like a tryhard, you know, and you don't want to be qualifying yourself too much. So the value should come through organically. The value should come through naturally, okay, just in the way that you put yourself across. And you do that by learning about social dynamics, but more importantly, by working on yourself, by making yourself a high value guy to the best of your ability. Okay. You shouldn't be sitting there boasting about your cars or the fact that you've got like how many properties you've got and things like this. That can come out in the course of a conversation. That's fine. But it's not about sitting there going, hey, I am X, Y, and Z. She should sense that from you organically, because you put that across. And that, like I say, is something that I teach in CAD Academy, because that really is the central tenet of my formula, really, which is charisma plus attitude plus differentiation equals attraction. Backland Bob says, joking, Troy Francis, I was playing, mate, solid content. Cheers, man. Thank you very much. All right, listen, guys. I've got to cut it a little bit short today because I've got to go for dinner with the missus. So check out Instagram, because I'm going to be posting some, hopefully we'll get some nice stories and things from this place that we're going to. My Instagram is at Real Troy Francis. So follow me over there if you don't already. I'll leave it there for now. CAD Academy's open, guys. We've only got 100 spots. They're filling up fast. So do jump on board. It's only 497 at the moment. I may possibly extend the window, but if I do, so at the moment it's going to close on Sunday. I might extend that window, but if I do, I'm going to put the price up, because otherwise it's not fair on the people who've already joined. So if you want to get it for that 497, 10 hours worth of video content, 10 live webinars with me in December, Facebook group, Telegram chat, 3 of my books, other video content also on top. Amazing package, as she said. Then jump on board. The link is going to be below. I'll put it below when we finish. And yeah, hit subscribe to this channel as well, and give me a like. Give me a comment below. Give me a like. Give me a thumbs up. Really, really helps out. Judd says, maybe it is just that I live in New York. I smile, nod, agree, and do whatever I want anyway. I'm not interested in correcting the mindsets of blue-pilled beta sims, but hey, that's me. Well, you know, we all need to look after ourselves, right? There is no point. You can't save people who don't want to be saved. That's what it comes down to. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow. I think we've got Rich Cooper on tomorrow talking about his new book, so that should be good. And yeah, I will see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.